Flyback. It's a flyback. It flies back. I'm pretty sure I met the founder of Oak and Oscar at a wind-up watch fair in San Francisco. And Chase, if that wasn't you, I'm sorry. And if that wasn't me, you're welcome. And even though I've seen watches from Oak and Oscar on wrists and display cases, this is the first video I've made about an Oak and Oscar watch. And really, it should not have taken me this long, because Oak and Oscar is on a very short list of American watch brands. And that list gets even shorter when I filter it down to brands that make designs that I really like. And I do like how this looks. Oak and Oscar is based in Chicago, which is the New York of the Midwest, which itself is the Philadelphia of New York State. But anyway, some facts about the Atwood watches. There are 3 dial options. This white panda, there's a navy reverse panda, and a charcoal reverse panda. You can get any of them on a bracelet for $2,650 or on a Horween leather strap like this for $2,450. And with either the bracelet or the strap, you also get a nylon strap, this olive drab strap with orange stitching. So you're getting the nylon strap either way, so just deal with it. 39 millimeters wide, 12.9 millimeters thick, 46 millimeters long with 20 millimeter lugs. It's about 151 grams on the bracelet size to my 7-inch wrist, and 50 meters of water resistance. I asked Oak and Oscar what 50 meters means here, and it does mean 50 meters of water resistance. In fact, it's actually tested for twice that. But you definitely do not want to hit the pushers underwater. So swimming with this, like swimming with me, is a risk I don't think you should take. The watch is powered by the Sellita AMT 5100M, which we'll talk about in a second. But first, I want to talk about this size, because this 39 millimeter diameter is one of my favorite things about the Atwood. It's 39 millimeters across and just under 13 millimeters thick. Now, I've been on YouTube once or twice, and I know there will be comments to the effect that a 39mm watch is the watch size for a newborn baby girl, 6 pounds to 8 pounds 10 ounces, and I'm sure those commenters are happy and healthy people. But I think for the rest of us, those of us with either the style or the wrist size of a small child, I think this is pretty sweet. And this is coming from a guy who owns watches all the way up to 55mm across. It's true, look it up. I think the size looks good on all of the strap options. Sometimes a watch looks a lot smaller on straps than on bracelets. I know that's the case with my 36mm Rolex Explorer, but I'm not getting that here. In fact, even as a bracelet guy, I'm really digging how these straps look on this watch. I think especially with this white dial, a lot of 20mm straps are going to look great on this. But for an additional $200, I'd take the bracelet. It's pretty good. The thick links do a lot to help balance the weight of the watch head, and it uses screws like God intended, and it's got a decent adjustment system. The adjustment system works a bit like the Rolex Glide Lock system. Pop it out, slide it, lock it in. It has about a 9mm extension, which might not sound like a lot, but let me tell you, it uses all 9mm, if you know what I mean, and I hope you do, because I don't. And the watch comes with its own tool to help you remove the bracelet through the drilled lug holes. And that's a nice touch, especially since this watch comes with the nylon strap, but I'd expect this to come with quick release spring bars. I think quick release spring bars on bracelets and straps are common enough now that they're almost expected, at least expected from brands like this who are very close to their customers. So Oak and Oscar ditch the spring bar tool and use quick release spring bars instead. You can trust me, I'm on the internet. All the Atwood watches have sandwich dials, or they look like they have sandwich dials at least. Which reminds me of a joke. Why are you never hungry at the beach? Because of all the sandwiches there. Anyway, a sandwich dial is when there's a top dial with cutouts, usually the numerals and markers are cut out, and then there's a lower dial under the main dial. And with most sandwich dial watches, the lower dial has lume on it. And that's the case with the navy and charcoal Atwood watches. That is not the case with this white dial watch. This white dial watch does not have a lume sandwich. On this one, just the hands and the tachymeter are lumed. So I don't know, I like the white dial, but if you want lume numerals and markers, you should go with one of the darker dials. With all the dials though, I really like the color schemes. In fact, I think with all its watches, Oak and Oscar, it's very good with color. White, charcoal, kind of a desaturated navy, and always with a dash of orange zest. Now the movement. I'm not what you might call a reader or ambitious or even literate, so I didn't know that this was a flyback chronograph until I started playing with it. I did notice that the movement wasn't the typical Sellita 510M, but rather this AMT 5100M. That's where it gets its flybackitude. A flyback chronograph works like a normal chronograph. Start and stop with the top pusher, and then when the chronograph is not running, the bottom pusher resets the chronograph. But when the chronograph is running, the seconds hand flies back and keeps running. Flyback, it's actually not a great name. All chronographs fly back, but this one flies back and continues running. It's an auto start. It's a jump start. It's a jump start chronograph. That's mine now. I'm trademarking that. The movement has 58 hours of power reserve and a cool looking blued column wheel. It beats 8 times per second or 28,800 beats per hour. And again, if you couldn't tell, it's manually wound. Now that can be kind of an inconvenience, but it also keeps the watch relatively slim. Now I'm also manually wound, but it does not seem to be helping. As for the price, there's a lot of competition, and I'm not going to generate a list for you, but there are a lot of watches around this price range that use the regular Sellita 510M, but there are not a lot of watches using the flyback version of that movement, the movement that's in this watch. And I couldn't find any flyback chronographs at this price with a 3-register layout like this. But again, I'm neither ambitious nor very literate. But that's no way to shop for a watch anyway, in my opinion. Do you like how this looks? Do you like the brand? Do you like how it wears? That's more the way these things go and the way they should go. That feels right to me. And now that I've actually spent time with this, I want to play with more watches from Oak and Oscar. So there's my ringing endorsement. I will gladly wear these watches for free for a week. So thanks.